because I'm a mother lover, you're a mother lover. We should smash each other's mothers. Smash each other's mothers.
Welcome back, everybody, to KPL Season 4. This is Week 6, and of course, this is our season where we are using only Pokemon that Markiplier would smash. Now, this week is a bit unique. I am coming to you in post-com this time around, and that's only because, actually, I was supposed to be facing TJP this week, but he is actually out of the country for this entire week, so we couldn't figure out a scheduling thing, and so basically he gave me a forfeit win, so luckily, we are going to win this 3-0 no matter what happens, but I wanted to make sure that I brought you all some kind of content, so huge thank you to Sky Retro Alpha for stepping in and giving me a bit of something to be able to upload. So basically this week we prepped a decent amount because we really wanted to take this win after that tough loss to Quick Dart last week. And so this is a very special set on Serena. We built this as an anti-Rabombi lead, and so basically we've got this to where we're AV on this. We can rapid spin on the predicted webs on turn 1, and then we can click triple axle right after. We're going to be faster after the rapid spin. We are speed creeping on this, and unfortunately we miss our triple axle, which is really unfortunate. But again, like I said, we are AV, so we can live a bug buzz, luckily, so that helps out a lot. And so as long as we hit the second triple axle, it's all good. Of course, I would have loved to have had more HP on this, but you know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? So yeah, it's not a perfect start, but we do keep webs off the field, so I can't complain too awfully much.
Smash. Smash.
Just to give you a little bit of a rundown of what we're running on the rest of the set, we're actually running a bulk up set on Mewtwo this week. We're running physical Mewtwo because why not? We are running Weepinbell, as you saw, because I really wanted to meme on TJP a little bit. And also, just it looks pretty good into this team, actually. With Terra Ground on that, and of course my opponent is rocking Terra Flying because I have like no resistances to flying, and so Terra Flying Zapdos looks really scary. We're running physically defensive or a Choreo, and we're running a Mirror Herb on both that and the Mewtwo. And so both of those are for possible victory dance on the Lilligant, and he also has the quiver dance that could have come on the Rabombi. We actually catch this on the Parting Shot. We are running a Clear Amulet Ditto specifically for Parting Shot Incineroar, which is really cool. So we come in after the Intimidate has gone off on something else, get the Intimidate off on this. Now it's at -1, we're at neutral, and so we're doing pretty good on that, which is really neat. And so at this point, I think Earthquake is pretty free. I mean, I don't know that he can just safely go straight into the what's it called, the Zapdos. So we're gonna go ahead and click that, and actually goes into the Slowking. I don't know if he was predicting something different, but EQ is gonna do a pretty good chunk here. Except that we learned that this thing's definitely physically defensive because it ate that. My goodness, it loved that. So yeah, definitely a bit problematic for this strategy. If he had been specially defensive, this would have been a 2-shot, and this would have been much nicer, but otherwise this is kind of working out for him. So yeah, definitely makes this a little bit tougher. So I know that EQ is not going to KO, and I was calcing at this point, and I believe that knockoff is a roll. I don't know that the roll is even in my favor though, but I believe that it is a roll after stab, but it turns out that he is actually Colbur Berry, so it doesn't matter. But seeing that damage, I think it would have been pretty close to KOing, but yeah, we do not get it because the Colbur Berry, definitely a good bring, and Yawn comes out, which is annoying. Luckily, we do have Parting Shot on this set, so we can just Parting Shot out, and we should be just fine to not have to worry about that. And so my opponent is going to swap out, of course keeping this around so that it does not go down, getting back some regenerator health, all that good stuff. And we get to see what he wants to go into. It is actually the Zapdos. Now, interestingly, this is not a static Zapdos, which I didn't really notice during the match, which bad on me, but this actually is going to tell me that basically this is presumed to be something a little bit more offensive, because typically you're going to see something more, if it's something more defensive, then it will be able to sit a little bit better. This also could be an anti-Ditto strat, just because Ditto only gets 5 of each move, and typically it's going to be choiced in some way, and so this takes me down from 5 to 3 turns. So pressure absolutely has its uses in this matchup, so I get it. We are a little bit more specially bulky on our Ninetales this week, but I don't know what exactly he wants to go for here. And so we should be able to take anything on Ninetales, but I don't know that he wants to stay in, especially if he's more offensive. I don't know if he's going to want to sit here and take a bunch of chip. I think Will-O-Wisp is a decent mid-ground play. It covers for possible going into the Slow King. It covers for this to make sure I'm getting chip on it. He actually goes for the U-turn here, which is a good play, just to see if I'm going to double out or anything like that. And yeah, basically Incineroar is the only thing that will possibly catch this. And so, but he could go something else. Incineroar might be the play, and if so, definitely not optimal, and that is what he goes for. So he does get me on that. I didn't bring Scorching Sands this week, which, looking back, I probably could have done. I had the Solar Beam for of course, the bundle, and I'm specially defensive mainly for the bundle so that I can take 2 Hydro Pumps in the sun. But Scorching Sands would have been nice for something like this for sure, but unfortunately, I did not pack it. So we're going to go back into Ditto here, get another Intimidate off on the opposing Incineroar, which is pretty cool, and then we're going to see what my opponent wants to go for from there. And this time he does go for the knockoff, so we can no longer pull the Clear Amulet strats. He does call that switch, which was definitely a bit telegraphed, but ultimately was the right play on my opponent's part. So at this point, I kind of am predicting him to go for a parting shot just as much as I'm going for one, and we actually lose the speed tie, which is actually best case scenario. I'm cool with losing this speed tie this one time, just because this means that I now have the switch initiative rather than my opponent. So yeah, you have to show me something, and then I get to pick whatever I want, and that is very, very helpful. So really, really nice so far. We're not doing too bad, but my opponent's making the plays that he needs to, and definitely the amount of repositioning that we're seeing on the opponent's side with the U-turn with this, parting shot on the Incineroar, probably flip turn on Iron Bundle, definitely makes it a little bit tougher on my squad to get set up the way that I want to. So basically the strat on this is to try to get Sun up with the Ninetales, and then try to get up the Tailwind with the Oricorio. And the reason why we're doing that is because I want to be faster than the opposing Hisuian Lilligant. Hisuian Lilligant is going to be much faster than my Weepinbell if it is also in Sun, and my assumption is that my opponent is going to be bringing Chlorophyll this week instead of Hustle, just because it just makes sense into the possible Sun matchup. Now, I could have gone with no Sun at all and just left it with basically no ability, but I felt like in this matchup, Weepinbell was going to be a bring, and I wanted to bring it at least once during this season, and this seemed like the week to do it. So we're not gonna try to waste that just yet. We are gonna go into Oricorio here on the U-turn, which was a prediction on my part. So right now, Sky is just kind of clicking all of the initiative here, and it's working. It's working. I can't get a solid position as long as he is switching around like this a lot. So it does intimidate me. I don't really care about that, but I am fully physically defensive on Oricorio this time around. And so we should be fine to take anything that this wants to go for. This does seem like a free Tailwind to me, so I believe I am good to just click that. I don't think there's really any downside to this at all. So I thought about that for probably a lot longer than I needed to, but it's all good. And so we get the Tailwind up, which is really good. So this is going to double the speed of everything on my team. My opponent does go for a parting shot. Definitely makes sense, because like I said, even if he had like knocked off right there, it's doing like 20% maybe. It's not doing all that much, and even the fire move isn't going to do all that much. So yeah, it makes sense to just kind of get out of there, see what I'm going for. And it's not like I could have done a whole lot to him. I'm not Terra on this, so I can't just go random Terra ground or something like that. So he didn't really feel threatened by me being faster, so the play makes sense. So we're going to see what my opponent wants to go into right now, and it ends up being the Iron Fraud, the only Pokemon that Sky actually did give a nickname to, which is hilarious, and we know why, especially because TJP loves to draft this thing, and we always give it a hard time. It always comes up just short of where it needs to be, but yeah, we'll see what we want to do here. Honestly, at this point, I'm best off to just click Revelation Dance because it does a really good chunk to this. It is neutral, and in the sun, it does a lot. He actually goes for Encore here, possibly predicting me to click the Quiver Dance here, because if I was a Quiver Dance set, that would make a lot of sense for me to Quiver here. I take a Hydro anyway, and so that play made sense to me. I'm going to click the Revelation Dance again, and I imagine that he is probably not going to stay in for this. Yeah, I get the play. I really do get that Encore. It makes a lot of sense. And if I had Quiver Dance, I probably would have clicked it there. Honestly, I probably would have done that, and he would have caught me into that. So definitely a play that makes sense for me. So we are going to see a swap here. Totally makes sense. I'm locked into Revelation Dance, so I can't switch moves. But my opponent is going to go into Zapdos here. And so we're going to kind of get an idea of what this set is. And we do about 35-ish%, which to me tells me that you are not very bulky. Oricorio is not that strong. Okay, it's not that strong. And we're -1. Even though we're in Sun, which does help, it's close to neutral. You know, Sun boost with the -1, so you know it's pretty close to even. And so yeah, that's definitely not a very bulky Zapdos there. Which we were predicting specs in mocks when I was running those with Zenkai. Shout out to Zenkai for helping me out with the team. And also huge shout out to Pokebaldi for helping me out. He gave me some pointers for this week, some of which I took, some of which I did not. And we'll get to that from there. But yeah, I definitely appreciate both of them for helping me out here. So I'm going to switch into the Serena here. And basically, I think Serena has served its purpose. It made sure that webs didn't get up. I don't think I'm really threatened by any other kind of hazards at this point. So I think I'm fine to just let this go down at this point, and yeah, we're all good. So he is going to go for this and click T-Bolt. That should be a 2-shot, and that kind of damage with me being AV, that pretty much tells me that you are you're spexy. That is quite spexy. So yeah, this thing is very, very strong. And definitely a huge problem. This is why we were predicting specs in mocks with Zenkai. I basically have no answers to flying moves, and then there's also electric moves which hits most things. The only one that I had that really resisted everything was Magneton, but Magneton was kind of garbage into the rest of the matchup. So outside of like bundle, and that was about it. So besides that, it just kind of lost to a bunch. So I didn't feel like it was worth it to bring that in this matchup. So unfortunately, we had to leave that behind, and it kind of leaves us open to Zapdos shenanigans possibly. But at this point, we know that he has specs from that damage. So I'm going to go into Ninetales now, and hopefully we can get something going here. I'm hoping to get my sequence right here. I don't think that my opponent will want to stay in because I think that I would live this even if I wasn't bulky. I wouldn't live well. It would be very, very low. It probably would be a roll. With the amount of bulk that I have though, and one other thing is that I normally bring bulky Ninetales. I brought bulky Ninetales pretty much every week, and Sky has actually been doing a lot of mocks with me as well. So I think he knows how much I like the bulky Ninetales, and so he probably called me to be bulky just for this, especially since I've gone into this on the Zapdos before. So yeah, it's a bit telegraphed that that's kind of what I'm going for. So I'm kind of predicting him to possibly hard switch out and not take that risk. So I'm going to hard call that and go into Oricorio. Even though he is locked into T-Bolt, I'm going to call him to switch, which was super risky because otherwise I go into Oricorio and it just goes down. So could have been really bad, but we do get the prediction right, and I'm going to go hard into Oricorio, and this is a really, really good matchup for me now. And so now we can basically get a Tailwind off, and we are we're cooking. We're hopefully cooking here, and we will see how this goes. So yeah, T-Wind is going to make sure that I outspeed the Lilligant when I am in the sun, which is really, really good. The only issue could be if that Lilligant is Focus Sash, which given my team, I don't actually have any hazards on my team. So basically the Focus Sashes are kind of free on my opponent's side, which is a bit unfortunate. Could I have possibly used Ditto to copy something? Sure, if my opponent had some hazards, I can always use Ditto to copy the hazards and set those up. And so that could be a thing, but at least for this matchup, I don't believe that my opponent really focused in on that, and so it's not really all that helpful. So my opponent goes ahead and knocks off my Mirror Herb, probably wondering why I'm doing that. That's so I could possibly double dance on a double dip on a dance, possibly with Quiver Dance from Rabombi, or even the Victory Dance on Lilligant. So that way I'd get 2 speed boosts, which would have been really cool. Getting a defense boost would have been really neat. But either way, it is gone. So none of that fun stuff, unfortunately. So he's going to go into Zapdos here, which could make sense. Which I believe still lives a Revelation Dance pretty easily, even in the sun and everything. Yeah, we would have been -1, so it would have done about the same as last time because that's what we hit it with before. But now I think it is Weepinbell time, and so we're gonna go into it. Here it is. Welcome, Weepinbell, the one and probably only time that you will see this season, especially in an Ubers League. Here we are taking a Weepinbell. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Ground Terra here. We are Focus Sash, so we will live anything that my opponent wants to go for. And so yeah, if he's rocking Hurricane, he has to risk that possibly being in the sun, which of course has a lower chance to hit, which could work in our favor. If he is Air Slash, that could miss. I've missed plenty of Air Slashes in my day. So maybe we can retain our Sash by the end of this, and we'll be good from there. But we're going to click Growth here because we do need a growth boost, and we're cooking. Now we're cooking. So what does my opponent go for? It is actually the Thunderbolt. He told me afterwards that he forgot that I was Terra Ground, and he was worried about possibly missing. He did have Hurricane, and he was worried about possibly missing that. So he did not click it. So works out for us. I'm going to click Weather Ball because that's pretty free into the rest of the squad. So basically, he's got to give me at least 1 Mon, if not 2, at the very least until Tailwind runs out. So he's actually going to go ahead and give me this, which is really, really nice. I will take it. Goodbye, Zapdos. Huge threat.
Smash.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we could have gone back into this anyway, and the issue on this is that he always has to sack something here until the Tailwind is gone. As long as Tailwind is around, Lilligant is not a switch in, so he always has to give me something to stall that Tailwind out. So now Lilligant comes in. I'm just going to click an attack on this because that seems to be the correct play, honestly. And so he can do one of 2 things. If he is not Focus Sash, he can just click the Leaf Blade and I go down to Sash, and then he dies to a Weather Ball. If he is Sash, then I think his play would be to possibly Victory Dance here, and that way, if he doesn't think I'm Sash, if he thinks that I am a Violite, that will guarantee that he is set up for future turns and could probably just sweep me, honestly. This happened in Mox, and this is what happens. So Victory Dance comes off here, and this is getting scary because now it is in Chlorophyll. It is now boosted, and if he's Focus Sash, this could have been very scary, but like I said, we are Focus Sash. So that was on the prediction that I might be a Violite. And so, yeah, we do get take it down to Sash, which is great, and we are going to then click the weather ball again. We are going to have to eat a hit in the process, which will definitely take us down to Sash because this thing is so frail. So yeah, this hits us, takes us down to 1, and yeah, no crit required on the high crit chance move. Takes us down to Sash. We're going to click weather ball and take this out as well. So Weepinbell making itself known.
Smash.
Ready to go and ready to cook. So we love this thing. We still got sun going, which is really, really good. So we're still very, very fast. And so basically at this point, I don't know what nature he is on the Iron Bundle. I don't believe that he is scarfed. I'm thinking he's probably more like Specs or something like that. If he is timid, then he actually has a chance, if he's max speed, he has a chance to actually outspeed Weepinbell if I'm in the sun. If he's modest, then I outspeed him. And so at this point, I don't know what he is. So it could go either way. I have no idea what to expect. Instead, he goes Incineroar, and because this thing is at full HP, you know, this makes sense. Now he sees that I'm Terra Ground. I've not revealed the Terra Blast yet, but I assume he thinks I have it. Now, if this thing is Assault Vest, it guaranteed lives. Actually, it will take a +2 Terra Blast from the Weepinbell, and so we're going to click that and find out, are you Assault Vest? Do you take this hit? And it is not. So Incineroar goes down in 1 hit.
Smash.
To the Weepinbell. Huge KO. We take those, and now the sun is unfortunately going to run out. So my opponent can go one of 2 things at this point. So I believe it is Slowking or Bundle, and of course Slowking, being the Bulkymon that it is, could possibly take this. Maybe. Again, it's a very, very bulky Pokemon, although we learned earlier in the match that that he is actually physically defensive. So in theory, this should just KO since we're all on the special side this week. So that should hopefully lock that in, and then Bundle will be the final member. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and click the Terra Blast here, take this out as well. It's great to see a Weepinbell going off. Goodbye, Slowking. That works for me.
Smash.
And then the final Pokemon is the Bundle. And so here's the thing. Bundle, I believe, has to lock into either Freeze Dry or it has to lock into the Hydro Pump. And I think Hydro Pump is probably going to be a little bit safer just because it does a little bit more damage, especially since my Serena went down. And so, yeah, I assume he has to go for that. Could possibly miss. We'll see. If he misses, then we just get the full sweep. And no, he hits. So we do not get to see Weepinbell take down everything, unfortunately, but it's all good. Weepinbell did its job, got 4 KOs, which I will absolutely take every single time. And I was like, you know what? It went for that. We didn't get to do the Mewtwo strat, but it's all good. But we're gonna go into Ditto here and see what we can do on that. So yeah, the Ditto strat is a lot of fun. I think it's cool. And so we're going to hopefully win this speed tie. And if we do, then we just KO with a Freeze Dry and we are all good. This was something that I wanted to do. We do win the speed tie, take this out. This was something that I did want to do.
Smash.
When I was mocking, I was like, I want to be able to KO the Bundle with his own bundle, and here we are able to do that. So huge GG's to Sky. Thank you so much for allowing me to play a battle this week, and that way I can bring you all some content. So again, thank you all so much for watching. This is going to take us to 4-2 with 2 weeks remaining. So one more win and hopefully we should be able to secure playoffs. Now listen, my schedule this season is probably one of the worst of anybody in the league. And then looking at my last 2 weeks, basically everybody I've played has been top 8. Pretty much everybody I've played. So it's been a really, really tough season, but luckily we're doing well. And so one more win should hopefully secure playoffs for us, but it's not going to be very easy. And so I hopefully will be able to bring you some playoffs content this season. We're going to go for it, and I hope you all are ready for that. So thank you all again so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.